Once the Python is installed on your machine, today what I would be trying to do is I'll be trying to play with Python console. So how to open Python console and what we can do with respect to Python interactive console. Okay, right. So now if you open PowerShell, okay, and even if you open Mac, just type Python. This is called as Python interactive shell or Python console, whatever you call it. Okay, so here you can write single line Python statement. So for example, if you write print of hello, it will try to print. Okay, so initially when we start working with Python, this will be our playground. This will be our playground, and then we will be doing little bit of experimentations around it. We'll be doing little bit of experimentations around it. Okay, so here there is one important thing which I want to speak about. Okay, which is import this. Remember in the last class I have spoken about Zen of Python. Yes or no? In Python there are commandments which we are supposed to follow, and that is called as Zen of Python. And Python gives you to give you a way, okay, of basically watching this Zen of Python in the shell itself. Okay, so let me try to show you the way of initiating or opening the Python shell. Okay, that is what we will be experimenting. And today in the classroom, what I want is I want you guys, okay, to play around with me, to do the stuff whatever I'm trying to do. Okay, to do the stuff whatever I'm trying to do over in the classroom. Am I clear on this? Yeah, right. So let me get started. Python July. Today is a fun activities, right? We will not have too much of trouble in playing around with whatever we are trying to do today, right? So episode 6.md 7.md, right? Okay, fun with Python shell. Okay, Python, I call it as console, some people call it as Python interactive shell. Okay, so there are different names, but the most active name that is given to it is Python interactive shell. Okay, so launch after installing Python. After installing Python, okay, launch default terminal. Okay, so default terminal in the case of Windows is PowerShell. Okay, or in the case of Mac you have terminal, Mac or Linux machines. So how do you launch PowerShell? Click on Windows and then type PowerShell over here. Okay, right. I think I have to do a little bit more. It's okay. I'll basically share this whole image. So this Python shell. And if you run it as an administrator, it would be good. But for whatever we are doing, it doesn't matter. For whatever we are trying to do, it doesn't matter whether you are doing it as an administrator or as a normal user. So let me save this image. File, save as PNG. Okay. And Python 11. Okay. Right. So preview.images/python11.png. Okay. Now let us basically get started with this stuff. Okay. Now I have opened PowerShell. I'll go over here, PowerShell, and I would prefer running it as an administrator, right? If you want, you can open normally also, but I generally tend to open this as an administrator, right? So for your better visibility, I'm increasing the font of it. So right now the font is 20, I'm making it 24, right? So now here I will type Python. Okay. Now type Python and hit return. Return is enter key. So okay, to see the Python interactive shell. Am I clear on this? So in your machines also is the interactive shell opened? Yes or no, sir? Yeah. And now the first thing which I want you to try is just to type import this. So are you seeing Zen of Python? Yeah. I think I need to change the path of it. Copy path. Python 12. Okay. All right. So right. Okay. And type import this. Okay. So are you seeing Zen of Python, sir? Import this and you have to click enter, ma'am. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Right. And then the next key which I want you to do is exit and parenthesis. Okay. So exit and parenthesis will bring you out of basically the Python interactive shell, right? So to come out of Python interactive shell, okay, type exit off, and then you have to use the enter key. Am I clear on this, sir? Okay. So now can I expect that you guys know how to enter into Python shell and how to come out of Python shell? Yeah, good. Okay. Now what I would try to do is, let me try to write some simple stuffs. Okay. And then let us try to understand what is happening internally. Okay. Right. So okay, there is a lot of difficulty or importance around this topic what I am trying to tell, but I will not bring all of that complexity today. We will basically try to play around this. Okay. So just to try to type something called as, okay, x equals to 5. What is that you have tried to tell? X equal to 5. What does this mean? We have spoken with Jarvis. What do we basically do to, what do we mean by this? Assign a value called as 5 and remember it as x. Yes or no? Unfortunately, there is no clear over here. Okay, right. So let me try to do that. And I have said that every programming language uses something called as data type. Yes or no? Yeah. So let me write it as type of X. So what is it I'm getting? Today we'll be playing with only two things. Okay. As remembering values, type and ID. Type and ID. So let me write as ID of X. Am I clear on this? Okay. So let's play around with. Okay. Let's play with two built-in functions of Python. Functions of Python. Okay. The first one is type of. Okay. So this function will tell type of, okay, or will tell the data type. Let me not make it difficult for you. Okay. And similarly, in Python, we have ID function. Okay. So what is this Python ID function? Okay. So this ID function is also a built-in function, and this returns identity of an object. Okay. So same identity can be thought of as same memory location. Am I clear on this, where I am coming from? When I say same identity, what does it mean? Same memory location. Okay. So let me get started. I'll exit. Oh, right. And then I will start. Okay. So let us do this exercise. You try to tell me how to deal with this. Okay. So fun activities. Okay. Let's remember. Okay. First, a number. Okay. So what is it I'm trying to do? I'm trying to remember a number. Okay. I'm calling it as my underscore number. Okay. Equals to 10. Okay. What does this statement mean? Hi, Jarvis. Remember 10 as my underscore number. Yes or no, sir? Is there any difficulty in this? Are you seeing any difficulty in this statement? Okay. So when I try to tell to remember, Python will try to remember. And whenever it is trying to remember, where it will remember the values? Where will any program remember the values? RAM. Wonderful. So now I will try to ask, okay, RAM, you are trying to remember, right? What is the data type which you have used? So type of my underscore number. So it is trying to tell that I have used something called as int. Don't worry about this class. Focus only on this part. I have used something called as int. Am I clear on this? So the data type of whatever we have stored in Python is int, but I need not worry about it. I am directly playing around with this. Okay. And then I would try to tell ID of my underscore number. This will indirectly, it is not actually a RAM location, but it will have some references. Okay. Now let me try to do this. So did I got ID? So for you also, are you getting these three values? First you assign a value, then you find out a type. Okay. Then you try to change it. Okay. Now what I will do is, let us change the number. Okay, my underscore number is equals to my underscore number plus 1. What does this mean? Okay, in my underscore number we have remembered it as 10. Add 1 to 10 and store it in the same name, store it with the same name. Yes or no? Do we have any problem with this line? Anyone in the classroom is having problem with this line? No, right? Yeah, good. Now let me try to type of my underscore number. So is the type still as integer? And then let me type id of my underscore number. Is the id same or is it changed? Whenever I change the value, my memory location is changing. What are those data types called as? Whenever I make changes in the memory locations, right, it will create a new memory location. What are those kind of data types called as? Mutable or immutable? Okay, go back to the definition. Okay, so what do you remember, which classroom did we spoke about this classroom date? I don't remember the dates. Let me see, 20th. Yeah, 20th itself. Okay, right. So mutable means address location will be same. Immutable means new memory location will be created. Now you try to tell me whether what is happening over here. Is the integer mutable or immutable? Do you all agree that it is immutable? Because the memory location is changed and id can be thought of as a memory location. Yes, good. Due to this, there will be a lot of flexibilities which will learn. So this, as I said, this is a very deep concept, but today we will not be worrying about the deep concept. We'll be playing around with this. Okay, I want you to get used to type and id. Okay, now let me assign my underscore number equals to 11.5. Now what is type of my underscore number? It will definitely not be an integer. Okay, and then id of my underscore number, is it changed completely? Okay, so here the name which you are using is strictly an alias name, so for example, okay, I'll speak about these topics in our next classes, but if you write in C or Java or C++, int a equals to 10, you can never assign a equal to 10.5. Yeah, why? Because while defining the variable itself, we are trying to tell the type. Over here, okay, am I doing the same thing? I give any name, I assign any value. Okay, at any moment I will try to change the value of it. One moment, guys, just one moment. Okay, right. So is it fun? Okay, now let me try to have a screenshot of it. Okay, All right. Is mutable or immutable helping you out now? Yes, sir. Okay. There is very importance with every topic which you learn. There will be some amount of application, right? Right. So, man, I messed up. Right. So now let me type basically this. Okay. My underscore name equals to quality thought. Okay. And now I will try to type ID of my underscore name. Here there is no need for you to write the name as quality thought. You can write your name. Type of, okay, my underscore name. Okay. Now let me assign your underscore name equals to my underscore name. What do I mean by this? Whatever is present in my underscore name, assign it to your underscore name. Yes or no? Yeah. Assign the value is what we will think of. Okay. Right. So in Python, the stuff works differently, but let us go with the assumption we are assigning the value of it. Okay. Right. Now let me try to write type of your underscore name. Okay. So ID of your underscore name. So is the ID of my underscore name and is the ID of your underscore name same? Okay, people want me to repeat this value. Let me try to start. This is a interesting concept, so I will not afford for the people in the classroom not to understand it. Okay, I am trying to create my underscore name equals to quality thought. Okay, and then I am trying to basically find out what is type of my underscore name. Okay, and then I am trying to write ID of my underscore name. Okay, now what I will try to do is I will try to remember a new location, your underscore name, and I'm trying to tell that there is nothing new for you to remember. There is my underscore name. I want you to remember the same thing. So ID of your underscore name. So is the memory location same or different? Okay, how are you trying to tell it is mutable? Right, mutable means it will use the same memory location when we change the values. Did we change any value over here? Are we changing the values? Right, so don't judge mutable and immutable. We are still immutable. Okay, so whenever you assign values, will the new memory locations be created in Python? Whenever you assign the values to new variables, are the new memory locations created or is it using the same memory locations? That is what I want you to understand. It is using the same memory location, right? So now let us go to MS Paint. Okay, and let us assume that this is all your RAM. In the RAM, I have stored quality thought. Okay, so this is the actual value. Okay, whenever I said my underscore name, okay, so my underscore name basically what it does, it goes and points to this memory location. Yes or no? Do you agree with this? Okay, then I have written a statement saying that okay, your underscore name equal to my underscore name. Then what happens? Your underscore name also will not, it doesn't know anything about it. It will also go and point out to the same memory location, but this time what I would do is to refer this, let me use a different color. Is this not what we have achieved? Okay. Yeah. So can you confirm whether the behavior is same in the case of integers? Take x and y, x equal to 5. Okay. And then try to assign the 5 to x y value to the y value, assign the x value and see if the IDs are same or not. Okay. A text. I'm not interested in using the word called as string yet, because we will have a formal introduction to data types. Today I'm asking you to play around, that's it. Okay. So when we are assigning variable values, okay, okay, to other variables, both will be pointing out to same memory location. Okay, let us see if it is true or not. Okay, is it true with text? Do you agree with that? Okay, for integers also I will try to write x equal to 5. Okay, we know the type. I am directly writing id of x, and then I will try to tell y equal to x. Well, that means assign the value of x to y, then id of y. Okay, is it basically pointing out the same memory location? Okay, so can I write it something like this? X. Okay, and somewhere over here I have a value of 5. Okay, and x will point out towards this location, which is 5. Okay, and then I have written y equal to x, then I have written y equal to x, so I have written y. Okay, and then y also point outs to same memory location, right? Y also is pointing out towards the same memory location, right? So now if you basically is this a code, sir? Hanshu, are you calling this as code? Okay, if you are calling this as code, there is some serious problem, right? Still, for your convenience, okay, I don't want to basically trouble you. So do you agree with me on this? Yeah. So in Python, for the same value, if I have 1,000 variables, okay, does it mean 1,000 locations or all the 1,000 looking at the same location? All the 1,000 pointing out the same location, right? Okay, so don't get too much advanced. Let us go one by one. Some of the people are asking me comparison with pointers, sir. Don't do all of that. Okay, right? Let us go one by one, sir. Okay, so right, right. So what is Python's data type? Are they mutable or immutable? Now let's change one variable, okay, which has or one variable value. Okay, now what is that I'm trying to write now is, okay, so I will try to write your underscore name equals to learning thoughts. Your underscore name equal to what? Learning thoughts. Okay, I'm changing the value. Now when I change this value, and then if I try to basically print what is your underscore name, I'll get learning thoughts. What is my underscore name? I'm getting quality thought. So ID of my underscore name is still the old one, but ID of your underscore name is a new location. So is it not immutability? Yes or no, sir? Whenever you change the value, then only new memory location gets created. If you are not changing, you are looking out at the same location. So in Python, generally, whenever you work with data types, generally, okay, all right. So the basic data types are also immutable in nature. Are also immutable in nature. Am I clear on this statement? Right? In Python, the basic data types are also what is the nature of basic data types? They are immutable. Okay, so let me basically do this. In Python, the basic data types, okay, will be immutable, but we need to find out about complex data types. Okay, so what are these complex data types? What are these simple data types? Right? So how do I find out the basic stuff around this and all of that stuff? Okay, so am I clear on this, sir? So do we understand what is type and what is ID? Okay, I have not given any textbook education. This is not a textbook education. This is playing with Python. This is, to be very specific, it is playing with Python. Okay, so if you want to understand how the memory locations work, right, so it is very easy for you, just go ahead, write some script. And so for example, I will be writing x equals to something like 50,000. Okay, so ID of x will try to give me the identity, which will indirectly refer the memory location. So I will try to define actual identity, but for now you can consider it as a memory location. And then type of x will try to tell you what is the type of it. Okay, now in the same x I can assign hello. Okay, in all the other languages it will fail. Okay, because in all the other languages whatever is on the left hand side is of extreme importance. In Python the extreme importance is given to your values. Now if you try to write type of x, it will be string, and ID of x will be something else. Okay, yeah, this memory location is lost now. Python's garbage collector will garbage collect it. We are not worried at this moment. Okay, right? Am I clear on this, sir? Okay, so type and ID, is everyone in the classroom clear with that? Yeah, so if two variables are looking out from the same memory location, can we find out whether they are same or not? Yeah, good, right? So one more thing, right? So basically what we would do is, this was a fun education, this was not academic education what we tried today. But what we do in our next class is, we will try to have an academic overview of this. Okay, so in Python what is happening around this? So whenever I type ID, whenever I type this int, whenever I type this type of, what is basically happening? So what are core data types in Python? Okay, and how do they vary? This is basically what we are trying to speak about. Okay, right? So there is one question which Shravanti had basically asked me, right? I have a small doubt. If the same memory location is there and we call it as mutable, when we take an example of your name, madam, it is not when same memory location is there. Shravanti, your understanding has gone wrong. Okay, so when we change the value, okay, let us assume you have written int a equals to 10. Okay, now let us assume your memory location is some 1000, and now you have changed the value of a to 11. Even after this change, if your memory location has not changed, that is something which we call as mutable, madam. That is something which we have called as mutable. Am I clear on this? You have forgot the definition of it. Shravanti garu ardhamainda? Yeah? Okay. Right. Okay. And some of the people are asking me, is this the first class in this week? Madam, sir, okay. So every day after my classroom, I am sharing this classroom notes. And in this classroom notes, it is evident when we had classes. We didn't had classes from the last couple of days. Okay. But I perfectly believe that 21st June was in this week. Okay. And even 20th June, to be fair, it was in this week. Right. Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. Jarvis problem you have solved. Good. Don't worry about that Jarvis problems now, because we have to introduce a new friend to you, new character to you. Okay. So you know Jarvis, you have to get to know one more. Before that, knowing one more, we are trying to understand the capabilities of it. Remember, when we have gone to our older classes, right? Our Jarvis had some capabilities, yes or no? We understood Jarvis capabilities. Okay. Now our character would be, okay, this guy. Okay, something like this guy. And do we need to understand his capabilities before we speak with him? Yes or no, sir? Okay. So for this Jarvis, we understood some of the capabilities. Similarly, for this snake, do we need to know his capabilities? And that is what we are trying to do. That is what we are trying to do right now. Once we know a little bit of his capabilities, we will go back to our language. We will start speaking in the language which we understand. And then we will make this Jarvis and this guy French. These two people French. Okay. So whatever you have spoken to Jarvis, how can you speak with this? That would be our discussion. But before that, we need to understand this snake, which I am calling as Python's capabilities. Am I clear on this, sir? Yeah. Good. Okay. Right. So today's class was very simple, right? ID and type. Okay. And you have to basically open your Python stuff. Okay. So there are some of the people who are facing issues with Python installation. For you people, okay, I will quickly install Python for you. There are some of the people who are still facing issues. For the people who are not facing issues, you can log out from the class right now. Okay. So since I don't have any other desktop machine, I'll be creating desktop machine on the cloud. Don't ask me what is this cloud now. Okay. So I'll be creating on Windows 10 machine. Okay. Since I don't have other Windows 10 machine, I'm creating it in Azure. Okay. So if you want to know how to create a Azure machine, I think in our in our Learning Thoughts YouTube channel, there is a video about how to create an Azure account and how to do that stuff. Okay. So let me call it as TBD. TBD means to be deleted. Okay. This stuff will take time. As I said, for the people for whom Linux Python is already working, you can log out from the classroom. Okay. I'm just creating one desktop machine. Okay. I'm creating Windows 10 Pro version. Okay. I'll call it as Qt Python. Okay. Let it be any region for me. It doesn't matter. Let me try to give this. I'm giving some username. Okay. Yeah, this is more than enough. Okay, since this machine is I'm creating on the cloud, it will take some time to create. Okay, I don't have other Windows machine. Otherwise, I would have opened that Windows machine. Okay, the machine is also ready. All right. So I have this laptop. Okay, since I don't have a laptop, I'm using Azure's laptop. I'm connecting it with Azure. Okay, I'm downloading an RDP file, and then I would say that open this RDP file. Okay, and then my username for this laptop, I have set it. Right. Sorry, saying this is a new Windows laptop. There is nothing which is this machine will be slow. Bear with that machine because it is a machine with 2 virtual CPUs. That's it. Okay. So I'm just trying to tell accept. Okay. So my machine is ready. So what is it I wanted to basically do for example? Okay. Now this is consider this as a new laptop. Okay. Now in this new laptop, okay, I'm searching for PowerShell. Okay, I open PowerShell. Okay, and let me increase the font so that you guys also will be able to see that. Properties. Okay, sorry, seeing now I type Python. Okay, hyphen version. Nothing is working. Python. So it is trying to tell that I don't know what Python is. I'm basically opening some Microsoft store for you and you can get the Python from here, right? Yeah, but I'll not do that. What I'll do is I'll go to the laptop and then I'll type Python download. Okay. So are you seeing download Python? Okay. So if you basically go into this download Python, let me click on this download Python. Let it be any, for us, it doesn't matter whether it is a 32-bit version or a 64-bit version, at least at this moment. Okay. Now you open this folder wherever it has been downloaded. Okay. And double click it. So are you seeing? And then don't forget to add this to the path. If you don't add this to the path, okay, your installation, when you type Python from command line, nothing will work. So then it is asking, do you want to install now or do you want to customize installation? You can choose anything. So if you basically click on customize installation, it will try to tell you what are the different things which you can do. But really you don't want anything. You can just click on install now. But don't forget to add that add Python 3.8 to the path. Okay. So let us wait for the Python software to be installed. Okay, right. Now your Python is installed. Now, if you type Python over here, okay, there will be no difference. In Windows, always it is a good idea to close PowerShell after you install softwares. Okay, type PowerShell again, run as administrator, and then type Python hyphen version and then Python. Is it working, sir, now? For the people who are unable to install, can you try this now? Okay, but if you forget to add Python to the path, then you will not be able to see this happening. Yes or no, sir? Is it clear? This I am not documenting. Installation documentation is a very boring activity, sir. So is this okay? Yeah, I've taken a new laptop with almost nothing in it. I've installed Python and it is working. Yeah, right.
Thanks for watching. For more videos, subscribe our channel and click on bell icon.